Is Microsoft lying to you about Xbox Gamepass? That's what we're going to be answering today. Now, right off the bat, I'm a big fan of Microsoft and Xbox, and I personally prefer Xbox despite having Nintendo and PlayStation systems. I think most times when people criticize Xbox or Microsoft, it's very hypocritical. Like, for instance, with the Bethesda acquisition and how people were so upset about them making Elder Scrolls and Starfield and everything Xbox exclusive, which Sony's been doing non-stop, and the Sony ponies have been cheering them on for years now. So I'm not typically someone to criticize Xbox unnecessarily, but I recently noticed something that concerned me a little bit, and it has to do with Xbox Game Pass. For those of you unaware, Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's game subscription service. It's really the closest thing that we have to date to compare to a Netflix of video games, is the terminology that was often thrown around when people were trying to come up with something like this. It's really the closest comparison you can come up with, and that gets into the crux of the problem. So it's implied you have your first party titles, just like Netflix originals, which are implied to be continuously part of the service. You're always going to get those, your Halos, your Gears of War, any first party title, which now includes things like Bethesda and maybe soon Activision games. Those games shouldn't leave the service ever because it's owned by Microsoft, and it's Microsoft's way of making the service appealing to people. Now, then you have a rotating library of third-party titles, same as Netflix, where they'll buy out licensing and streaming rights to shows for a year or two or a few months even, just so it's available for a temporary amount of time and then it leaves. Microsoft usually lets you know ahead of time and has a little tab that says games about to leave the service. And I regularly check this, that way I don't miss out on anything that I might have wanted to play before it leaves. Also, if it's something that I've played on the service and it's about to leave, maybe I'll go ahead and buy it for the 10% discount that encourages. It's really the best thing about Game Pass because it really helps out indie developers get their game out there and lets people try it. And if they really enjoy it and want to keep playing it, they can buy it. And then that helps with their sales and helps deal with their development costs. But recently, I clicked on the Games About to Leave tab and noticed a game that shouldn't be on there, Quantum Break. If you don't know, Quantum Break was developed by Remedy, which is a first-party studio. It was published by Xbox Game Studios, by Microsoft, which means it should never leave Xbox Game Pass. It should always be on there, so why would they be taking it off? I don't know. It's been theorized for a while now that Xbox Game Pass has to be losing money, and that eventually they'll have to raise the price of Xbox Game Pass, which didn't really bother me too much because it's still, no matter what they raise it to, it's the best deal in gaming right now. You're just getting so much value out of it. And it helps out the indie developers, like I mentioned before. It's a win-win across the board for everybody. But if the gaming industry has taught me anything over these many years, it's that greed always finds a way. The first thing I thought of was back when Fallout 4 was announced, and people were kind of upset that they announced that they were going to be releasing a season pass for Fallout 4 before the game even launched. To me, I had played several Bethesda games at this point, and I've enjoyed all the DLC. I knew I wanted all the DLC, so it was a no-brainer, buy the Season Pass. But then Bethesda started getting cold feet about the Season Pass, thinking, well, we want to develop more DLC, but the DLC will be worth too much. It's actually worth about $50, so we should be charging people $50 for the Season Pass, not the original $30. And I started getting pretty upset about this because there were speculation going around that Bethesda was going to do something called a Season 2, which was pretty unheard of at the time, for me at least, in a single-player world. But it's not too uncommon nowadays. Farming Simulator is a great example. You have multiple seasons of DLC, so a season pass is no longer a all-encompassing season pass anymore. It's very counterintuitive to the whole purpose of why a season pass was created, to give you access to all the DLC content that will release for the game when it comes out. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why'd I go on a rant about season passes right there? Okay, well, the reason I'm bringing that up is, what if something similar is about to happen to Game Pass? What if instead of, oh, well, yeah, you pay the $15 a month for the Xbox Game Pass, but to get all the games on Game Pass, you have to subscribe for $30 a month and create a tiered system, which is the same problem that Netflix wound up doing, to where there's all these different stupid tiers, and it's just not worth it anymore. It's like, I paid the one thing, I'm paying you every month, just give me what I'm paying for. So, funny story, after recording pretty much this entire video, I went to get a screenshot of Quantum Break on the Leaving Soon tab, and only to discover that my Xbox is updated and Quantum Break is no longer on the Leaving Soon tab. So I thought, oh, well, maybe it's already gone. No, it's still on Game Pass. So clearly somebody's just screwed up, which makes sense, because if you ever check out the couch co-op tab that's supposed to be, you know, local area multiplayer games, it's just any game on Game Pass that's multiplayer. So whoever's managing the tabs on the Game Pass app, they clearly need to get their stuff together. So I guess that means this entire video is pointless, so thanks for watching anyway. Okay, so according to Aaron Greenberg, basically there were some licensing issues, which is weird because I thought Microsoft owned all the licensing, and it's being re-added. If you want to see more like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. I got all kinds of content. Recently been playing a lot of Hi-Fi Rush. Got footage of stuff throughout the entire game on the channel. It did really well for the channel, and I really appreciate all the support. You can also follow me on Twitch. I've recently been streaming some Sifu on there. Turns out Hi-Fi Rush really helped me prepare for Sifu, because I was kicking that butt's game. I beat it in the same day I bought it, but now I'm just trying to like master it. And yeah, I'll be streaming some more of Sifu on Twitch. Link is in the profile description. You like Xbox games, you like RPGs, you like any of that kind of stuff, Bethesda, BioWare, any of that, mostly Western RPGs, but I do occasionally dabble in some JRPGs. Any kind of building, love all that building stuff. Subscribe to the channel, because that's what you're going to see here. Thanks for watching. Peace.